6 weeks now. And
Hi.
Hello. Since you guys are much more exposed to the real danger and lockdown, so you are the first guy from Italy that I'm going to interview. Now, how many weeks that you're at home?
I've basically been home since the 29th of February. So now it's, I guess, 6 weeks or so.
Did you anticipate when the outbreak was starting that you will be locked down like this?
No. And even when it started, we thought, okay, it's going to be like 2-3 weeks, maybe a month. And now we are realizing that it's not like that, possibly at least 3 months. And yesterday, the official deadline has now been moved to the 4th of May.
Why Italy was hit so badly?
Everybody's wondering about that. It's still unclear how the virus got to Italy. So in January and even in February, the general message was only China is a risk. So only people that come back directly from China are a problem. You have to test them. And what. Apparently, it went to a factory in Munich, in Germany. And then from there, there was an employee, the Italian part of the company that was there. While in Italy, no one was really prepared. And it was only detected because there was a relatively young guy, like a 38-year-old guy that went to the hospital. The official protocol at the time was that you are not allowed to test people that are not coming from China. The doctors broke the rule and they found the coronavirus. And it's the 21st of February. They realized it was already circulating in Lombardy, possibly some dozens of cases around, and they were not able to trace them. It took a couple of weeks. Initially, so maybe this is the only one, and so we only have to trace him, and then you realize it's already everywhere, and so you have to lock down everything. Our health system is unprepared and it's not able to cope. So we have a very high mortality. Even today, after 6 weeks of emergency, even the hospitals have a hard time having the face masks. They cannot do the tests, and they have not enough chemicals when you have fever and coughing. You just stay home and call the emergency line if you start not to breathe and start to die. Otherwise, you're left home and you're never tested. So in the official numbers, you never appear. There are lots of people that just die at home and are not counted because they die before anyone has the time to go there and test them. It's a total disaster in organizational terms. And so that's the real problem. The rest, the lockdowns, I think were reasonable. Of course, it took some weeks to get to the lockdown. In the end, this is a democracy. And the point is that people have to at least partly believe in what they're told to do. People really had to see people dying and all the lines in the hospitals. And at that point in time, people start to accept the idea of a lockdown.
How do you characterize the ordinary citizens' life in Turin?
There's been an estimate by the Imperial College in London. The real number of people that got the virus in Italy is like 3-4 million, compared with 150,000 official cases. But mostly are people that just have some fever. And then for most people, this is now a normal influenza. Now people understand that this is a serious issue. In terms of normal life, again, you have to stay home. It depends. For people like me that can work from home, it's not a big issue. I get out every 7 days, maybe 10 days. So it's boring maybe, but not really a big issue. People that do certain jobs have to go out. Of course, there's a lot of people, on the other hand, that have lost their jobs or they had to close down shops. And those are the people that now are home but don't know what will happen to them. So that's the other problem, the economic problem. It's starting to become even bigger than the health problem.
Do you see some kind of class divide of this thing in Italy?
No, not much. We see a real difference by age in the deaths and still have public health, so everybody gets treated. While in the US, you need to have insurance to get
that. People are starting to fed up with this lockdown situation, and you see some of the people are disobeying that.
So, people already are not the super strict people, caring about the rules. And of course, if you ask the people to stay home and by the way, not work and not make any money for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but then people say, okay, this is not going to end. I don't have any money. I spent all the money and now I need to go out and do something. They are sort of not losing hope, but start saying, okay, we don't see where this is going, so we don't want to do more sacrifice. The trend is relatively positive in the sense that the new cases have been going down steadily, very slowly, so not a lot, but the shops are closed, but you can buy everything on Amazon. So people say, well, do we lose our shop revenues? But Amazon is making a lot of money. So our government doesn't have any money, because, of course, we are already in very high debt. They're promising to spend money that they don't have. On the 1st of April, you could ask for 600 euros if you were self-employed or not an employee person. But then the website to ask for it crashed. Then they only have money for like 10% of the people that are. And then now they changed the rules because they don't have the money, so they had to restrict the people. So in the end, the towns have been given a little money to buy food for poor people and this kind of.
You used to be, with the 5-star.
Of course, the big debate here has been about European money. So since Italy doesn't have any money and it's not very easy to borrow, we would like Europe to lend us money. And of course, Germany and the Netherlands don't want to lend us a lot of money. So maybe something, but with conditions. And trend is also we should get out of the European Union because they are not friendly. And of course, China and Russia are, putting their propaganda on this. So they send big amounts of help with the Chinese flag and the Russian flag saying, so there's all this sort of geopolitical trend.
Being involved with technology industry yourself, do you see any positive sign of use of technology innovations, stuff like that?
Yeah, this forced lots of people in Italy to learn about the internet and start using it because we still had lots of people really not using it. Big lockdown happened on March 9. And immediately from the day after, you saw 40% increase in traffic in the main internet exchange points. In other countries like Germany, it was 10%. It's a sign that there were lots of people that were not using the internet before. And they had to learn about remote working and streaming movies and all the things that you can do without. For people like us that work in the internet sector, in theory, this could be a positive moment. There's a boom in demand of internet services. We hope that at least this will be a positive outcome. Remote working in Italy was very rare because we still have this old mindset that people have to go to the office and the boss has to watch on them. And even the most traditional companies were forced to let people work from home. And everybody's discovering that in the end, for office work, you can do it.
Are there remote schooling of kind?
Yeah, that's also a heated discussion. The schools were the first ones to close, literally on the 22nd, 23rd of February, and they're possibly not going to reopen until September, at least. Lots of people, especially the younger teachers, started to do video conferences and calls, but older teachers say, no, this is not in our contract, just go home and don't do anything, as if it were a holiday. Families are asking the teachers, you do something. If you get paid, you should at least try to do something, and many do, and others say, no, we.
Going to the cultural social side, there was a famous singing from Italy in the apartment, one balcony to the other.
Yeah, no, that was the first week or so. So it was like, we have to stay 2 weeks home, but let's party. And after the first 2 weeks, people just said, okay, no, they got depressed or they got bored or they got fed up, so they stopped. One thing that everybody has started doing is baking. So, it's very hard to find the yeast and flour because everyone said, okay, I'm home with the kids, let's make pizza. It's a traditional way of cooking stuff together in Italy. So there's a boom in demand for flour and yeast and eggs. And they are becoming hard to find. Normal people like us, I go out every 10 days usually, 10, 12 days. I go to a supermarket, I buy everything, I spend 150 euros.
Thanks a lot.
Ciao, talk to you again.
Thanks a lot.
Bye. Ciao. Stay well. Bye.